The obsession didn't start with a bang. It started with a whisper. A text that came at the wrong time, a glance that lingered a second too long, or perhaps a sudden absence that left you feeling like the floor had been pulled out from under you. You tell yourself it's love. You tell yourself that this specific person is the missing piece you've been searching for your entire life. But the truth is much darker, and much more mechanical. You aren't obsessing over them because they are the perfect partner. You are obsessing over them because they are an unsolved puzzle, and your ego cannot tolerate an incomplete file. We often view love as a spiritual encounter, something that happens to us from the outside. But obsession is an internal architecture. It is a defense mechanism disguised as a romantic crisis. When you are fixated on one person, you are not engaging in a relationship. You are engaging in a one-sided negotiation with your own subconscious. The first thing to understand is the trap of intermittent reinforcement. We think we want consistency in love. We say we want someone who is reliable, steady, and present. But if you have ever been in the grip of a deep, agonizing obsession, you know that steady love is the last thing you actually crave. Consistency is boring to an addicted brain. What you are addicted to is the scrap. The breadcrumb. The text message that arrives after 3 days of silence, which feels like a sudden flood of oxygen after drowning. That spike of dopamine is not affection, it is relief. You have been walking around in a state of low-grade anxiety, a background hum of "Am I enough? Will they stay? Why aren't they responding?" And when they finally acknowledge you, the anxiety dissipates. Your brain records this as a reward. It isn't rewarding you for being loved. It is rewarding you for surviving the withdrawal. Think about the last time they were actually available. When they were kind, present, and boringly consistent, did you feel the same spark? Or did you find yourself feeling uneasy, looking for a way to create distance? We choose people who cannot love us back because we are terrified of the responsibility of being truly loved. To be loved without conditions, to be seen without the need to perform, is a terrifying vulnerability. It leaves you nowhere to hide. But when you obsess over someone unavailable, you are always hidden. You are safe behind the wall of their rejection, safe in the knowledge that because they cannot commit, you never have to be fully vulnerable. This brings us to the concept of the shadow projection. We rarely obsess over who a person actually is. We obsess over the potential we have assigned to them. You have taken your own unexpressed desires, your own suppressed needs, and your own fears, and you have built a statue of this person in your mind. This statue is everything you wish you were. It is confident. It is elusive. It is the embodiment of the stability or the excitement you lack. When you look at them, you aren't seeing a human being with flaws, a history, and an expiration date. You are seeing a mirror of your own unmet potential. This is why it feels so painful when they ignore you. It isn't a rejection of your personality. It is a rejection of the fantasy you are using to keep yourself together. If they were to actually love you, the fantasy would collapse, and you would be forced to deal with the messy, mundane reality of two flawed people trying to share a life. And your nervous system is not ready for that. It prefers the safety of the tragic script. Then there is the matter of the ego. Our sense of self is built on a foundation of "I am someone who achieves." You have achieved in school, you have achieved in your career, you have achieved in your hobbies. You have learned that effort equals reward. So when you encounter someone who doesn't love you back, your ego treats it as a failure of effort. If I just try harder, if I show them how much I care, if I wait patiently, they will change. You have turned this person into a project. You are not pursuing a relationship, you are pursuing a victory. You want to win them over not because you need them, but because you need to prove to yourself that your effort still matters. You are treating a human heart like a technical problem to be solved. And the longer they resist you, the higher the value of the prize becomes. It is a psychological sunk cost fallacy. You have invested so much of your emotional capital into this person that to walk away now would be to admit that all of that time, all of that energy, and all of that pain was for nothing. So you stay. You keep betting on a rigged game because you refuse to leave the table empty-handed. But there is a final, darker layer to this. We often obsess over people who reflect our earliest wounding. If you grew up in a household where love had to be earned, where you had to be a certain way, act a certain way, or succeed in a certain way to receive affection, then you have been conditioned to believe that love is a transaction. You are looking for a partner who will give you that exact same feeling of almost, but not quite. You are recreating the dynamic of your childhood, trying to get it right this time. You are trying to convince the ghost of your past that if you are just the right amount of loving, just the right amount of patient, just the right amount of perfect, you will finally earn the love that was withheld from you. It is a noble attempt, but a doomed one. You cannot get what you need from someone who is incapable of giving it. The payoff is realizing that your obsession is not a reflection of their value, but a reflection of your own hunger. The moment you stop looking at them as the savior and start looking at them as the mirror, the spell breaks. The person who doesn't want you is not a gatekeeper of your happiness. They are simply an opportunity for you to see what you are still chasing in the past. Let the obsession burn out. Do not feed it with more effort. Do not feed it with more hope. Let it be the quiet end of an old, exhausted story. You aren't losing the love of your life, you are losing the version of yourself that was comfortable with being ignored. And that is the most necessary death you will ever experience. If this hit home, hit subscribe. You deserve a love that doesn't feel like an argument you're losing.